Do you think the prisons of today, that was once?
Absolutely not. Unrecognizable. It got flipped on its head, man.
What do you think brought that about?
What I think brought that about is litigation, lawsuits, the federal oversight, the federal receivership, right? Let's not forget about the feds have their hands in the CDCR. Lack of leadership, and I mean solid leadership, with integrity, ethics, morals, values. Micromanaging the computer system. SOMS, everybody got on board, all the prisons, all 33 prisons got on the same page with somebody running it from Sacramento. So all of this combined, what else, man? Dude, litigation was a driving point, right? But they mishandled that bad.
I agree completely. So for the viewers who don't know what SOMS is, it's a Strategic Offender Management System. It's a computerized system that helps the CDC administrators monitor everything everybody does. So you talked about litigation, and one of those was Ashker versus Brown, right? Ashker versus Brown was a class action lawsuit brought by inmates at Pelican Bay, requesting alterations in the way the CDC did things, particularly indeterminate shoot terms. As a result of that litigation, the shoes were literally closed. Pelican Bay is no longer, not as a shoe.
Facts.
Corcoran shoe is no longer.
Facts.
Do you think that became beneficial to the CDC or it became a detriment to the CDC?
Again, I don't feel, and I have no problem going on record, man. The shoe did not work, right? The security housing unit, indeterminate shoes, locking up the worst of the worst did not work. And if you're saying, how did it not work? Well, it sure didn't stop the violence on the yards, man. Centinela, Charlie Yard, level 4 GP, Bravo Yard, level 3. You still had your race riots, you still had your murders, and that's with the heavy hitters locked up in the shoe. But it almost like, dude, if CDCR could have done it the wrong way, they did it the wrong way. I mean, what did they do? They dispersed everybody to every main line. I made a suggestion the other day. They should have probably just put every leader on one yard or in one prison. Again, give them the GP access, day room, yard, programs. But I think since they spread the problem, a problem, not the problem. They spread a problem around.
So, in 1 year, 62 murders.
2 years, 62 murders since Jeff McCumber, the secretary, has been since I left. 62 murders.
62 murders in the CDCR.
62.
Proliferation of cell phones everywhere.
Cell phones, okay. 95% of inmates probably have a cell phone. It's safe to say every inmate probably has a cell phone and or definitely access to one.
And if not that, then the CDC provides them with tablets with free communications anytime they want it.
Facts.
Right? Now, I don't think that's a bad thing that they distribute tablets that are monitored and controlled and lack Wi-Fi.
That is not the wrong thing. All right. The wrong thing is when you assault a correctional officer, beat up a cop, and then we hand you a tablet. To me, it's almost like behavior from a child, right? You don't reward a child after he does something bad. That's the way I see it, as reinforcing bad behavior. So the tablet's not the issue. It's how they're, all these California model, all these foosball tables, they're going to the ad segs, which they have now renamed to restricted housing units, and they're getting the problem children and they're rewarding them.
So if that, there has to be some repercussion, if I'm interpreting this right. There has to be some consequences to their actions, right?
Yes.
That's what you're pointing out to me. If that's the case, then why reward gang leaders with general population status? Because look, I believe that there should be a humane way to be released from the shoe, barring participation in criminal activity. If you're participating in criminal activity, there should be a place for you, because people are dying because of it.
Well, now it's the feds. Now it's the RICO, and we talked about this. It's the new shoe is RICO now. So they are doing something with these gang members. They're federally indicting them, but they're sitting in ad segs and they're sitting in county jails because the feds refuse to take them.
But how is that not applicable in the CDC today? I mean, if the feds can take, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the BOP, can take gang leaders and place them in AdMax, which is the most secure housing in the United States. The Unabomber, what Sherm's there, puppet from individuals who have proven to perpetuate crime and continue participating in criminal activity. They're a threat to the general population. They're a threat to the community. If they can take these individuals and isolate them, and they can take other individuals and curtail their behavior, there are still murders in BOP.
Right.
But not the levels here. And the proliferation of SMY gangs. They don't have that in the BOP. If you violate a policy, threaten an individual, pose a threat to anybody in a PC yard, which is called WITSEC, phase 1, you're kicked out of the program. It's sent right back to the sharks. If the feds have a template that works, it's adequate, it's functioning, it's been going for years, and they don't have the proliferation of cell phones and murders in the feds, why can't the state do it?
The state incompetence. You need competent people at the top to make decisions like that. Conversations need to be had. No ulterior motives at all. Just say straight to convict, guard conversations. It's SNY, holy shit, the SNY, man. The SNY was a failure. The program was a failure right off the top. So what was CDCR's answer to that? Mix them back in with GP inmates. Forcefully integrate them back with general population. To me, that's not the right answer. Because you're having us do it at the bottom. The guards, you're having the correctional officers, sergeants, lieutenants mix them. And then you want to get them in trouble when it goes wrong. And it's going to go wrong.
I agree with you 100%. They had PHU-1 and PHU-2 back in the day, protective housing unit. And that was for individuals who needed protection. Guys like me, guys like other high-profile inmates. Excuse me. And then they created the SNY yard, this fancy acronym, Sensitive Needs Yard, which is really just protective custody, PC, right?
Right.
And they intermingled anybody. Anybody could get SMY status by saying, hey, I want out. And contrary to popular belief, if it was a gang-related SMY placement, they had to tell. Like, I am being threatened by the gang because I owe money for dope. Who is it? That guy. And so I see a bunch of people saying, I never had to debrief. I was an SMY. I was a drop-off from a gang. I disbelieve in that. When they made this one collective group of dropouts, right? Now, everybody's a dropout, right? I think that was a fatal flaw in the system, a fatal flaw in the SMY system. There should be an isolated area, just like you said, for individuals who need specialized protection and housing. I think there should be a specific area for individuals who are active gang members.
Right.
Give them rehabilitative, because I believe in rehabilitation.
So do I.
I believe give them college courses, give them rehabilitative programs, give them the beneficial recreational activities that are enjoyed by every other inmate. Don't restrict them in any sense of the word. But if they violate rules and regulations and participate in that criminal activity that they were once part of, or they prove to be active members in the gang, then isolate them. I think the SHU short quarter program was the best thing since sliced bread.
When you were in the SHU and you were outside of your cell, could you be in the area with a correctional officer and you not in restraints?
Never.
So what if I told you now that the California model is, hey, let these guys there without restraints, and now you're the officer mingling there?
I think for the level of inmates that we were at the time, that I was, that it would be a threat to the lives of the officers.
Well, these guys are worse because they're impulsive and like lack that, and they don't answer to nobody. SNYs, EOPs,
Triple CMS.
Triple C. So that's where I talk a lot about the danger and the rehabilitation. What I like to clarify what is not rehabilitation. That is not rehabilitation. Putting a young CO in a fucking shark tank and taking off the handcuffs and letting him fend for himself.
This is why I'm bringing this up. I saw a past interview where he says that the inmates are responsible for 1% of the
Correct.
problems. And it took me aback. Like, I clutched my pearls. Like, it was a clutch your pearls moment. Like, oh my God, he said that, And for me, it's like, no. The guys that are participating in criminal activity, and I don't have a problem with them. I mean, obviously they want to kill me, but this is what it is. It's the truth. These are organized crime members killing people on the prison yards, I say that part of these are attributable to triple CMS, SNY gangs, maybe 25%, 10%. I don't know. But these are active gang members, not just killing in prison, but also killing in the community.
Right. Let me ask you this question though: Is if an SNY, legitimate SNY inmate, gets endorsed onto a GP yard, hey SNY inmate, we're placing you on a GP yard, and he is killed by active gang members, would you consider that a gang killing?
No, I think that's deliberate indifference on part of the CDC. I think
I agree.
I think that Norway model and that non-designated housing program thing is doomed to horrific failure. In fact, when this model first came up, the Norway model first came up, I was interviewed. Special Services Unit came to see me. We were doing a piece for the, I think it was the director and the governor. And I voiced my opinion. I said, this is doomed to fail. This is doomed to fail. I think it's the worst thing that you could ever do. I said, people are going to die because of this.
And they're 62.
62 people are dead now. Now, it can't all be attributable to gangs. It can't, right?
Correct.
There's some other just crazy guy, some imbalanced person. I apologize for using crazy. Some imbalanced individual who's challenged psychologically. Some SNY gangs, but the majority of them are by the active Big Four, right? I think they call them security threat groups now.
Yeah, STG 1, STG 2. I think they went after follow the feds.
I think that to allow individuals to perpetuate violence on a continuous basis, and this is not a aberration, this is a regular thing occurring. If you look at the CDC website, they have public information releases, and they detail every death, every suicide, everything is detailed there. And you can tell when it's a Mafia hit or an NF hit or an AB hit. You can tell what group's involved, right? And there are a number of those. I believe that this process of intermingling individuals who have real concerns with the sensitivity of their case, whether it's one of the crazy case or whether they're a former gang member and debriefed or they just dropped out, they PC because they had drug debt, which is the majority of those guys are over there because they're drug debts, right?
Right.
And then they claim to be dropouts, but
right.
Go figure. But I think the idea that the CDC can create a policy and say, look, we are adopting the Norway model, and we're going to create this non-designated housing, and this is Shangri-La. You can program here and you can parole. I mean, these are hardcore, hardened criminals. Do you think that for 1 second I could go on a yard and say, hey, I'm a non-designated guy and kumbaya, bro? You think that would go well?
Absolutely not.
What do you think would happen to me?
You can get killed.
Like that.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Yeah, the people get killed. And I just don't think this model works. I think that the implementation of rehabilitative programs and the educational programs and the what's the other thing they're called? The trades, what is it called?
Vocational?
Vocational, yeah, vocational. The utilization of these programs are very effective.
Absolutely, the dog program, even drawing murals. I understand all of this, right? But we want to identify what is rehabilitation and what is not.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that what's going on is rehabilitation.
Correct.
I've seen groups started. I was part of a group up at Pelican Bay State Prison. We started Protect, prisoners reaching out to educate children and teens, right? And it was me, a bunch of other guys, we did it. And we really just wanted certificates, right? I mean, I'm an active mobster.
Right.
We're whacking people out and smuggling in dope. So how can people who participate in these activities, like real mobsters, go in a group and then say, I am a mentor now. I am part of this rehabilitative group, and I'm endorsed by the CDC director's office. I think that's a bunch of bullshit.
Well, we see it for what it is. We see it for what it is. Now you talk about prison gang violence, right? But what about the fact that the prison gang leaders have actually held up their end of the bargain with the end of all hostilities, like race riots, minimal to nothing, compared to from 2014 and behind, the race riots were a common freaking thing.
Regularly.
regularly, and now they're non-existent.
I think that they've held up to their end. No
Correct.
staff assaults, with the exception of a few.
Few major ones, but you're correct.
And then look at stabbed by a Crip. No major outbreak of violence after that.
I didn't realize that it was him.
It was him.
I didn't realize that.
Nobody's ever named him, but that
Right.
was him, right? No retaliatory strike. Whereas before, when I was a Mexican Mafia
Oh,
member,
dude! I mean, I don't know if you were watching the YouTube. Yeah, we thought, holy shit, the prison system's about to explode right now,
it's going to rock.
and it didn't.
Didn't, which is a testament to
Correct.
the veracity and credibility of the organizers, Todd Ashker, Arturo Castellanos,
Right.
Paul Red, Gabriel Reyes, all the guys who gave their word to the administration. They kept their word.
Absolutely.
Nothing can be reduced from these men. They adhered to their word.